So now I would like to continue with interventions, if there is any additional. Well, if there is no more interventions, I would like to again thank all the briefers, the participants, and questions, comments from the floor. I would like also to give now the floor to Assistant Secretary General Coninsx for her closing remarks.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Chair. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. We had a unique opportunity today, thanks to all your rich contributions and the insightful presentations of the presenters, to take stock of what we have on board. Security Resolution 2178, 2396, the Madrid Guiding Principles, and its continuum, the addendum to the Madrid Guiding Principle. We all realize that it's now the right momentum to promise ourselves in order to support at 100% the member states to ensure not only creating awareness, to promote that unique toolkit, as Director Khan has referred to, and translated into very good, tangible, concrete steps on the ground, so that all the requirements see the daylight and that we all together fight terrorism in the most effective way, and especially the returning and relocating foreign terrorist fighters. So much more work ahead. More research is also needed to identify what works at global and at individual levels. We are not there yet, and we need to continue to exchange all the best practices, experiences, gaps identified, needs identified, and so there is much more to do. What we will certainly promise ourselves to do is at CTED to integrate the principles into all its work streams and into all its assessments tool, and to make a profitable use of it in all our country-specific visits. And indeed, it was alluded to by Director Khan, after this briefing, CTED and UNOCT will sit together, not to have the pleasure of sitting together, but to do something tangible and to develop a coherent plan to coordinate and prioritize delivery of capacity building assistance. We will also then work with the donor community to mobilize the necessary support. We shall also coordinate with other UN entities and international and regional organizations to ensure a complementary approach to promoting implementation of the guiding principles, the addendum, and other relevant guidance. We heard it today, several United Nations entities and other international regional organizations have developed additional relevant guidance which can be used alongside the guiding principles. CTED will certainly also consult with a civil society, with the private sector, and as Dave Wells have alluded to, we will certainly continue to get engaged with the members of our global research network to gather additional information, research, analyses on trends, issues, developments, gaps, challenges, and good practices, and to develop a methodology for evaluating existing tools and approaches. It has been said here on the basis of some examples from Spain, the Netherlands, and other countries. We do have some approaches in some areas in relation to prisons and in relation to children and women. But let's be honest, we don't know what is the impact, what is the concrete impact on the ground so far. So it's extremely important that we continue to exchange these good practices, that we disseminate those good practices, and that we make all the member states benefit from these exchanges. Well, I think that the right step has been made here today. It's a start, not an end. It's really a start of much more to come. And as usually, you can, at CTC level, continue to count on our support. We are here to support the 193 member states in having a better, a more effective and a more efficient fight against terrorism, and including against returning and relocating foreign terrorist fighters having terrorist intentions. Thank you.
I thank SAG Coninsx, and I would like also to thank all participants, all delegates that have intervened today and come to this session. I think it was a very important session in order to exchange views on how to implement the guiding principles. I think we are in a new phase, and we need to discuss how better implement this. We heard that most effective approaches need resources, expertise, and equipment that many states do not currently possess. The provision of capacity building assistance to help them address the challenges involved will be necessary. Indeed, our citizens rightly demand that we protect not only their lives, but also their way of lives. And in our efforts to do so, we must consistently uphold and respect human rights, fundamental freedoms, and the rule of law. Impunity is not an option. Bringing terrorists to justice within the rule of law and human rights compliant approach presents a number of significant challenges. Collecting and effectively using evidence from jurisdictions in which foreign fighters are active can be extremely difficult. The same is true of electronic and digital evidence. Both new and old financing techniques make it difficult to follow the money and effectively gather, share, and use financial intelligence. We need more effective interagency and international judicial cooperation. Without programs to manage violent extremism, prisons can provide a fertile breeding ground for radicalization and recruitment. The Madrid Guiding Principles and the Addendum provide additional guidance for putting this international legal framework in practice at a national level. However, if we do not put in place practical measures to address the challenges that I have just described, the international legal framework will have little or no impact. The Counter-Terrorism Committee and its Executive Directorate will continue to work closely with their many partners to help states overcome the challenges. Let us continue working together to maximize our impact on the ground. Thank you very much. I would like also to take this opportunity to thank our interpreters, sound engineers, and secretariat for their assistance. Thank you very much. The session is finished.